right, we're just going to talk this way.
We just talk and we talk and we talk and we talk.
Gotcha.
And you know what to do.
All right, yeah. I've been here before. I've been here before.
I know you have.
Yeah.
All right, welcome to Rick's Corner. I have a friend of mine from the gym. We just met a couple of weeks ago. I've seen him around for a few months. Man's amazingly big, like huge, like enormous, like massive. And he approached me one day and said he watched a show, and I said, why don't you come on and talk about what you do? Because he has an interesting life. He works out, he's got a big body, but he has another side to him that I found really fascinating, and we're going to talk about the whole thing. Right, Shaun?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So it's my pleasure to introduce Shaun Royer, and I'm really glad you came by right on time.
Exactly. You know, in show business, you got to be on time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you're originally from New York?
Originally from New York.
Yeah.
I grew up, I was a Broadway brat. Did Broadway shows growing up.
Really?
Yeah.
Were you a big guy then?
No, I was a little dancer. I was a little singer-dancer.
Like what? How much weight?
Oh, well, I was little. I was a little kid. So,
yeah. Oh,
my first Broadway show was at 9.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then I continued to dance and do competitive gymnastics all the way through high school.
I'll be darned.
Yeah.
When did you get into weightlifting?
Not until I retired from dance.
What year was that? How old were you then?
I was 34.
That's late to start.
Yeah. But, you know, I'd always wanted to. I just always wanted to, but my career, you know, you gotta pay the bills.
Well, that's the thing. You got to have time. And,
exactly.
And it's like some of the guys say, I just got a job. I don't have time to work out. You can find time.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But, you know, for me as a dancer, body type and body shape and being light was very important.
Very important.
So
that's what they call for.
Yeah. So I always dabbled in lifting weights, but I couldn't do it because I, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, put on a lot of size very quickly.
Obviously.
So I had to stop.
All right. So since you said that, you were 35 when you started.
Yeah, 34.
What was your size then? I mean, as far as your body weight?
I had stopped dancing at about 187 pounds.
Okay.
And by the time I really started lifting seriously, I was about 240.
At about 187?
Yeah.
Not 188?
Nah.
About 187.
Yeah.
All right. So when you started lifting, did you have any idea what you were doing? Or
yeah. I mean, I did some powerlifting in college.
Okay.
And I knew all the right people.
Okay.
You know. In fact, the first gym I went to when I was 13 years old, the first people I met were Jeep Swenson.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, Jeep. And Fred Ottman, the wrestler.
Yeah.
And so I knew what I wanted to do, how I wanted to do it, and how big I wanted to get. So that was not a question.
Jeep passed away several years ago.
Yeah, he did.
I used to see him on auditions, and we had an audition down here on Ventura Boulevard. It was on the second floor. There were stairs.
Right.
And he came up the stairs and sat down. He was completely exhausted from the stairs.
Oh, yeah.
But he wasn't healthy.
Well, you know, 420 pounds, that's a lot of weight for anybody.
Yeah, it's a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Big guy, though.
Yeah, huge.
So you gained quickly.
Yeah, I did. I went from about 240 pounds to 300 pounds or something within a year.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
How was your diet?
I just ate everything I saw. Yeah, I had a girlfriend who was overweight at the time, and so she just loved cooking for me. Yeah, okay, I'm throwing it out there.
Yeah.
So I mean, I never was not eating. I just ate and ate and ate.
So you have a good appetite.
Do you know what? I had to force feed because as a dancer, gymnast / you learn how to be satisfied with very little, and so I need to learn how to eat and eat to grow.
Yeah, you know, it's hard, and I see, I go out to lunch, and I'll eat within my means with my high protein and that, but I see women come in, young girls, and they'll get these plates and appetizers and all this stuff, and they put it away, and I think, where do you put all that food?
Exactly.
You know, I mean, you have a girdle on or something, because I can't eat like that. It's just hard.
Right. Well,
you know?
Metabolism.
Yeah, and I'm just not that hungry.
Right.
I mean, I eat something, and I eat it, and it's like, okay, I'm tired of this already.
Right.
You know, I mean, with like tuna fish and eggs and cottage cheese, you get sick of it.
No, tell me about it.
You know?
Yeah.
When you were gaining at the time, what kind of supplements did you take?
I was taking a lot of weight gainer.
Yeah.
I was, you know what? I can't remember. If there was something to take, something to try, I probably tried it.
Okay.
You know.
And the thing is, when you try everything, someone told me today, he's taking everything. He says, I don't know what works. I take too much stuff.
Exactly.
You don't know how to narrow it down to what's actually working because everything's working.
Right. Absolutely.
Now your arms are huge.
Right.
They're really big.
Right.
Did you have easy time gaining muscle like that? Gaining a bicep like that?
The thing about it, when I was doing gymnastics, I was a ring specialist.
Okay.
So I just always had big arms.
Okay.
And big arms, big legs were were kind of my thing.
All right, now they're increasingly big. Has anybody ever asked you, did you take synthol?
All the time.
All the time.
All
right?
the time. All the time.
I'm sure you get it all the time.
Yeah.
You've never tried it?
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
And tell me about it. Did it work for you?
Yeah, it works. It's kind of a temporary fix.
Yeah. Is this the product of synthol now?
I haven't tried it since I had probably about 8 years.
Oh, it's been that long?
Yeah, it's been that long. Yeah.
So this is pretty much natural now.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I would assume that there might be some residual effects.
Yeah.
One thing I did notice that was kind of weird is I had back surgery.
Okay.
And I was actually on my back for 2 years. Like, could not get out.
Oh, boy.
And my arms actually grew.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, my arms actually grew.
Get back surgery, lay on your back and your arms grow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So, yeah, my legs shrunk 4 inches, but my arms actually grew.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so, you know.
Is that the only place you used it, or did you use it anywhere else?
I
mean, I see people putting it everywhere now.
Yeah, I tried calves that hurt.
Oh, that would really hurt.
Yeah,
that would really hurt, yeah.
Yeah, you know, but no, right now, and for the last, because I was really sick, the back surgery before, so like for the last 7 to 8 years, nothing has gone into my body that I know could do damage.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
And you never competed?
No.
So this is just a personal thing?
It's just a personal thing.
I agree with you there. I mean, I compete a little bit, but this is personal for most people.
Right, you know.
You know, how many people actually get up on stage and compete and make it a living? Very few.
Right, exactly. And when I did, and I did think about it for a little while when I first started to work out, and then meeting the bodybuilders I knew and finding out how much money they were making and compared to what I was doing.
And compared to how much you're spending.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what I was doing, it just didn't seem like a very logical thing for me.
What about, how old are you now?
I'm 45.
Okay. Yeah. Any testosterone replacement?
Actually, yeah. My doctor prescribed it for me last year.
Okay, and how much a week?
Do you know, I'm not using it.
No?
I'm not using it.
It does make a difference.
Yeah, it does. It does. So, he gave me one, you know, he gave me that one bottle, and I just didn't think it was going to be enough to really make a difference, you know, in excess. So I just never.
Well, there's a maintenance amount, which is like 200 milligrams a week.
Right.
And that's exactly what I take. I just had mine tested. I'm not sure the numbers on it yet, but it could be a little low. Just like I told you, my thyroid all of a sudden dropped. Which really makes me tired and achy. I want to boost that up a little bit. But when you get older and older and older, testosterone drops. We've touched this on the show many times. And hormone replacement is okay.
No, absolutely. And, you know, it's legal, it's okay, and it actually helps to promote a better, longer, more satisfying and productive
It's
life.
funny that you say that. I have a female doctor out at the Studio Health Center who's rheumatoid arthritis, and she's very, very nice, and she was telling me that, you know, that for years they said testosterone is damaging the heart, it's damaging for this, it's damaging for that. She says now it's a gray area, and her cardiologists say, well, it's actually good for the heart, it's actually good for this. So the medical field is kind of up in the air about everything.
Well, you know, it's there were a lot of caveats and a lot of just rumors and stay away sort of thing. And when you really look at the science, it just doesn't pan out.
Yeah.
You know? And of course, in excess of anything is not good.
Anything.
But you know, supplements, testosterone, anything that you take in moderation to help you live your life, to keep things working correctly.
Right.
It's great.
Yeah.
Know?
If you're deficient in it, you take it.
Exactly.
And chances are over 40 you're going to be deficient in it.
Absolutely.
All right, the other side of you.
Yeah.
You have a flip side.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Well,
what's behind the mask?
I was known as the star maker.
Okay.
And that's kind of how I, when I was dancing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've worked with everyone from, my first job out of college was the Mickey Mouse Club.
Okay.
So Christina, Justin, Brittany, you know, Ryan Gosling. I taught all of them. Went back to Texas where I was living at the time. Hillary Duff, Haley Duff.
Jeez.
Jared from Supernatural. Bunch of Broadway kids.
Yeah.
Moved back to New York, Alicia Keys. So I was kind of known as a star maker for a long time.
Was this with dance?
Dance, singing, and acting. I do all three.
All three?
Yeah.
Okay, let's break them down.
Okay, all right.
Let's start with the dance. What do you do? How do you teach them?
Don't teach as much dance anymore. Okay.
Me either.
Yeah, but I was actually trained ballet, contemporary, and jazz. Mm-hmm. Some of the hardest training that I've ever done.
Very hard.
And gymnastics. So and I spent most of my life at a dance bar 4 to 6 hours a day working.
Very committed.
Yeah, so taking it back to bodybuilding or lifting, it was a very natural switch to going from that sort of hard work to the hard work of
Sure,
lifting.
it's all the disciplines you've already you got in your head that you can do.
Yeah. So I did that. I taught at Broadway Dance Center in New York City, choreographed a bunch of shows, cruise lines, Broadway shows. Then I went into directing, choreographed and helped direct the Super Bowl, various professional dance teams and that sort of thing.
That's really interesting. No one would ever know that side of you.
Yeah. You know, I'll never forget this one time when I first started lifting. I was at a gym in Texas, and it was one of those hardcore, good old boy guys would wear their jeans and their briefs to the gym sort of thing, you know. And everyone was really friendly because I was a bigger guy, you know.
Yeah.
Everyone was really friendly to me, especially this one guy. And I had to have a dance rehearsal. And so he sees me working with all these dancers, you know, and he just stops talking to me. He's like,
really?
He just stopped talking to me, you know. And so one day I'm working legs, and I'm doing the leg curls. And I don't know, it was a lot of weight because I was strong legs.
Yeah.
And so he decides to go back after me, you know, to show me that it's not that heavy. So he gets on it, and literally he tries to do it, and his body just flips up the other way. You know?
My God.
And I walked by and I was like, it's the ballet, man.
Yeah,
you should try it.
Exactly.
You should try it. You should try it.
Let's talk about the acting part.
Yeah, so the acting part, I did a lot of Broadway shows, started coaching and training acting, produced a bunch of shows. And I've been doing that here in LA, some short films and things. And then one day, a casting agent called me and said, we've been getting a lot of bodybuilders in here. They don't know how to audition correctly.
That's very true.
Yeah. And so I started searching out bodybuilding friends who I thought might be good actors. And what I usually got from them were, well, it's natural, I don't really need training, you know. And it's really funny because they're so committed to training for what they do, but they weren't committed to training for this other part of the career.
Being on camera is like, even now, it's a completely different thing.
Absolutely.
You know, when you go in for an audition and you go on camera to do something, you better be prepared to know what you're doing.
For sure.
And you got to play to the camera. That's your audience. Like right here is your audience. These are the people. All you people out there are watching, millions of eyes looking at us right now, and we're talking to you. And so many people go into an audition, they're just afraid to look at the camera. They don't know what to say, and they're looking at their lines, and they're going, "What do I do now?" And it's just got to be natural, right?
Right. And there's a protocol.
Okay.
You know, you're supposed to go in there, you know, get on your mark, say, you know, do your weight, you know, have your first line always memorized so you're saying it to the camera. There's a protocol of how to do things correctly in an audition. And so they were calling me to help them find people who could come in because they wanted to feel comfortable sending them on to the next level.
Right.
And if you look at it, there's a reason why, like for the movie 300, why did they get all these actors and then do training to make them built when they could have just gone to a gym?
Yeah, I get that.
So you know, so I started on a search, and I couldn't find. There's a few guys that I was able to find, you know, and you see them all the time, Mike O'Hearn, you know, those kind of guys. Yeah. You see them, and so I was able to submit him to this top 10 agency. And
well, Mike knows what he's doing.
Oh yeah, he's amazing. Yeah. So like I said, there was a handful of guys that really knew what they were doing. So fast forward, I opened up a new therapeutic practice. It's an optimal performance practice where we use hypnotherapy, NLP, and coaching to help people achieve whatever they want. And I wanted to hire some bodybuilders, some martial artists, and so to do an infomercial. So I had a casting call. And it was terrible. It was terrible.
Yeah, what happened?
Yeah, they just didn't know what they were doing. Nice people, intelligent people, really great bodies, the wrong pictures, the wrong way to come into the audition. They weren't prepared. And so I decided that I was going to create an organization that would actually train bodybuilders to be actors, bodybuilders, martial artists, fitness professionals.
Right.
And then also train them in a way that brands them, you know, because, for example, I'm not going to get the part as the romantic lead.
Well, I'll tell you, I've had a battle with that with my agent for years.
Right.
They sent me out as a biker, as a wrestler, as a biker, as a tough guy, and I've said, I'm 70 years old now, I've earned the right to have the romantic lead.
There you go.
And they said, well, Rick, only way you're going to get that is if you become a rapist.
Ouch.
So,
I'm
not going to get it.
The reality.
I'm not going to play grandpa or dad either for some reason. They're just not going to give it to me.
Until you get to that point where you can start calling your own shots, like The Rock.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But until then, we call Hollywood add water and stir. What you look like is what you play.
However, I got called in, and I had a friend on my show that did the show with me. We did a Flues commercial with Whoopi Goldberg when they had Flues years ago.
Yeah.
And so they called me in as a bodybuilder, and he came in as a bodybuilder or something. He ended up doing the J. Crew thing, and I wore my belt and my wrestling gear, and you guys might have heard this.
Right.
And I went, he said, "What are you going to do?" I said, "I'm going to be a wrestler, not a bodybuilder." He says, "How are you going to do that?" I said, "I'm going to tell him."
Right.
So I went in, I met the producers and casting. They're all standing there looking at me. I said, "Look, you brought me in as a bodybuilder. Yes, I work out, but I'm a pro wrestler too, and you don't have this on your show. This is where the money is right. This is the biggest thing on
Absolutely.
TV. I got my belt, I got my outfit. Just hire me as a wrestler, you'll be happier."
Right.
And they did.
Yeah. You can start, once you have the rapport, once you have a few things on your resume, people are more likely to listen to you.
They listen, yeah.
But until then, you're just another guy.
Nothing.
And look at The Rock, 10 years ago, if you were over 240 pounds, they told you got to lose weight or you're just not going to make it.
Good story.
Yeah.
Back in the 70s when all of us in Venice Beach, we get a phone on the wall, we get a call, we need bodybuilders for the Flip Olsen show, or Johnny Carson for Cher, or whatever. And we all go down and we get to work, but we were just standing dummies, like mannequins.
Absolutely.
Posing and just being in the background. And I had said something to some of the SAG ones. I said, why is it there's a lot of big men in the business? Because we're big, we're categorized over there. What about John Wayne?
Right.
People like that. Well, he's not a bodybuilder, he's just a big guy.
Right.
What about Ben Casey? He was a bodybuilder.
Right.
I don't know if people know that. Vince Edwards from the Ben Casey TV series, he was a doctor, but
I know it.
he competed and made a movie called Mr. America.
Oh, wow.
And he was in Venice Beach, and he was hung out with the guys, and he went to his last call for Dr. Ben Casey. He told the guys, if this doesn't pan out, I'm going back to New York. I'm tired of doing auditions.
Right.
He went in there with an attitude, and they looked at him, and they said, perfect personality.
Yeah.
And they hired him.
Yeah.
So he got Ben Casey. But what they were trying to say was, if you're a bodybuilder and you take your shirt off as a doctor, they're going to say, why do you have muscle?
Right.
When do you have time to go to the gym when you're healing people?
Right, absolutely.
But now today with Grey's Anatomy and all those shows, all the guys are in shape.
For sure.
That's what they want.
Yeah, absolutely. And The Rock was the highest paid actor in 2014.
Yeah, I believe
So
it.
the paradigm's changed. And so it's time that bodybuilders, fitness people, martial artists were trained, get trained to go in and go after those roles.
And get the jobs.
Yeah. And so that's what I'm doing.
And where are you doing this?
I have a studio in North Hollywood. It's at my studio called High Voltage Coaching.
Okay.
At Lancashire Plaza.
Is the website?
Yes, my website's highvoltagecoaching.com.
Okay.
And so we're doing two things. We're having a champion mindset sort of seminar, free, so that people can come in and just kind of find out more about attaining the life that they want. And then right after that, we're going to have auditions for the actors workshop. And the reason why we're having auditions, I'm really excited, is because it's going to become a reality show.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
So we're going to pick 14 bodybuilders, no experience necessary.
You hear that, you guys?
Yeah.
Get in touch with him. He
Yeah.
might be on TV.
Yeah. So no experience necessary, just real great personalities and the desire to really work at being an actor.
Right.
And so what will happen is we have Juliet Jeffers, the acting coach, and myself coming in to mentor the bodybuilders in real scenes that they would most likely do in their brand. And then it'll grow into the leading role.
Yeah, that's perfect. Because you got to start somewhere.
Exactly.
You got to crawl before you can walk. And so
Right.
you get something you're comfortable with in a situation you're comfortable with, and then you kind of like move it over a bit and move it over a bit. Pretty soon you're out of that zone.
Right.
In a new zone.
Right. Absolutely.
And that's what works.
Right. So it's really exciting. There's 8 different scenes to learn besides their audition process, their interview process, and then there's like the typical doorman scene, the typical gym coach scene, then the bartender scene, and then it becomes a love interest scene, then it becomes an action scene, and so far and so
That's
forth.
the way to do it.
And it'll be on set. Great scripts. We had all the scripts written by professional television and movie people, and it's gonna be a great time. So not only are you gonna learn a lot, but you'll actually have footage to put on a reel, which is something else that's very important.
I don't want to interrupt you, but it's so true. Nowadays, your agent, they don't even care about a headshot. They just want to have an electronic headshot they submit.
Yeah.
What's your reel? What have you done last? What can show your ability?
Exactly.
I can show the hosting stuff because that's what I want to do.
Right.
I have stuff in the past I've done, but it's not current. I had hair.
Right.
So they're going to say, what do you have that for? You guys don't have any hair now?
Right.
So you've got to have some sort of footage you can show them. They can say, okay, I like what he did.
Right.
We'll bring him in for something.
Right. So, because when I'm casting for a television show or a film, you put on LA casting, and then within 2 hours you have 400 people.
Oh, easily.
Yeah. And so what happens next is you kind of look at their headshots and that one, and then but you still have like 300 people. So then you find the reels.
Right.
And, if they don't have a reel, then you know what, I'm not going to take a chance.
There's certain things you just don't want to do.
Yeah.
And the headshots are deceiving because they don't always look like, especially women.
Right. No, that's true.
Always
that's
look
true.
different.
And that's the other thing that really happened with the bodybuilders that came in with their headshots and their reels.
Mm-hmm.
Or, no, their headshots and their photos, they were bodybuilding shots.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And they weren't character driven.
Right.
Right. And so we already know that you have a great
You see the shot behind me there as a cowboy?
Oh, there we go.
That's
awesome.
me.
Yeah.
That's a real, what I used in the 70s. It was
Right.
like for a composite.
Absolutely.
Puts me in the cowboy genre.
Right. So when they look at your picture, they get an essence of what you can play.
Right.
Right.
It's weird because as you get older, as I get older, maybe it is me. I've talked to some other actors that I don't want to go out on auditions anymore if they're any more across town.
Right.
And I'll tell you why. We live in LA.
Right.
To get from here to Santa Monica on the 405 freeway is a nightmare.
Right.
And they'll always say, "Oh, you have an audition 5 o'clock Friday." No, I'm not going at 5 o'clock Friday.
Oh yeah, no way.
It's a 2-hour process.
Right.
To get in front of a camera and say, "Hi, I'm Rick Drasin," and they say, "Thank you very much. We'll let you know."
Right.
Then you got another 2 hours home or 3.
Exactly.
And
Right.
so I said, "No, I got to limit it down to certain hours. I don't go in
Right.
the morning before 10 either."
Right.
And my agent finally dropped me. I said, "I'm sorry, I can't do it. I can go between 1 and 2
Right.
if it's near my house and if it's specifically for me,
Right.
because I don't need to go. I have another business."
Right. No, absolutely. Absolutely. Right.
So I call my own shots, and if something comes along or I want to produce my own stuff, I'll just do that.
Right.
That's where I am now.
No, absolutely. But it's been years and years.
Years and years. I took my SAG retirement. I got my insurance. What do I need? I'm
Exactly.
okay.
Right. So,
Well, this is really interesting. A whole
Yeah.
other side of you that, oh man, I'd like to come and check out your class. I think this is really cool.
yeah. No. It's the bodybuilding class hasn't started yet, but
No, but it does.
yeah, you need to come by. It's been great fun. We had a workshop not too long ago where they got to do cold reading and that sort of stuff.
Now, in the cold reading, years ago I was taught, first of all, and you know this, and
Yeah.
people don't know this,
Right.
when you get called in for a cold reading, that means that they're going to give you some lines to read to camera.
Right.
And there's going to be someone sitting behind the cameras, usually a casting director, it could be a director, it could be a producer, it could be the clients. It depends on if it's call 1, 2, or 3.
Right.
And so they give you the lines, and they want you to know them. Now, I don't always memorize them, but you can.
Right.
But if you can't look down and read them because all they're going to film is the top of your head.
Exactly.
So you want to look at camera. But I always say hold your lines out below camera level so they're there.
Right.
So if you look at camera, you can glance down, pick up a line, and read it.
Right.
I took a class that taught me cold reading. It says read the newspaper and read a sentence out loud. Now pick up 2, look down, pick up 3, not down, pick up 4 like a newscaster.
Absolutely.
And then pretty soon you're picking up a whole paragraph in one shot.
For sure.
And then you just spout it out.
Yeah, and it's amazing because it really does work. And especially when
It
you
does.
see like the people on soap operas,
Yeah.
the people who do sitcoms every day,
Yeah.
man, they can literally just look down, grab 3 or 4 chunks of, and
Yes.
just go.
And just go with
just
it.
do it, yeah.
And that's really what it takes. So if you got a good body and you have a desire to act, and there's no limitations, but you can do it if you want to do it. You got to have the passion, but you
Absolutely.
can do it.
Right.
And you're out here in California, want to see Shaun's class, I really suggest look him up and go about it and do it the right way, and you might make yourself a few bucks.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And now there's so many channels. There's plus the internet.
Yeah.
So there's never been a better time for actors.
Perfect time.
And now there's never been a better time for bodybuilders either,
That's true.
or martial artists or fitness professionals. I mean, it's there for us. And so it's just a matter of being trained, knowing what you're doing, having the right business mindset and mentality for doing this business.
Yeah, you got to have that.
And then just going for it.
Okay. I want to thank you for being here.
Oh no, my pleasure.
It's been a real pleasure.
Yes, absolutely.
And now, if they want to find you on the internet, they can go to
Yeah, it's highvoltagecoaching.com
and
ShaunRoyer.com.
also Shaun Royer on Facebook.
Yes, Shaun Royer
On my Facebook.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm going to post all those so they'll be able to find
Awesome.
you.
Awesome.
And I really want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you guys for watching. This has been
right.
very interesting. See, there are people that are bodybuilders that work out, that do other things that you never even know about. And that's why I decided to come out with something called Behind the Mask. What's behind the man or behind the bodybuilder? That's another level of his life. That's interesting because we all have something to talk about.
Absolutely.
And this is how we learn.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. All right.
Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time on Rick's Corner.
All right. Take care.
It's RickDrasin.com. He is the equalizer, baby. See you next time.